Hi there, Chris here, another quick tip for you all. In this video we're going to continue our look at painting the Celestine model from the new Gathering Storm box sets. And as you can see here, we have the model already done with the flesh and the armor, and so now we're going to work on the cloak, or the little tabard, whatever it is. Little skirt, I guess. For that we're going to get started with some Naggaroth Night and some Kantor Blue. And we are going to mix these in a roughly 1-to-1 mix ratio. Of course, I always say roughly 1-to-1, as grabbing dollops of paint with your paintbrush is not entirely exact measurements. You know, it's not like teaspoons or tablespoons or anything like that. But as long as you're consistent about it, you can usually get consistent results. Once I have the mixture all mixed out and ready to go, just the dampness of the brush to thin the color down. I am not using any mediums or anything like that to thin the color out. And I begin applying it to the model. And as you can see here, I applied also to her little, was it a corset, I believe it's called? The thing around her midriff, and the same colors as well. And you can see it's pretty much all one layering on the model surface there. And of course, it also runs like a loincloth as well between the legs. Next is some Screaming Skull. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to two-brush blend this color, this highlight, onto the top portions and a little bit of the bottom portions of the cloth as well. And if you've watched the two-brush blending, it's relatively simple. Just take a bit of the Screaming Skull, no mediums, and I'm taking this color mixture, this 1-to-1 mix ratio, you know, Kantor Blue and Naggaroth Night, and basically we're just going to blend these and get our highlights here. It is a very mild color change. It's really up to you as to how far you want to push those highlights, and leaving it almost like that Screaming Skull right at the edges. I was tempted to leave it as such, but I was actually preferring it more just a very subtle color change. And so again, it's personal preference as far as how far you really want to push those colors. But again, you know, it's for most, you know, you probably don't want to push it too far. I wanted to keep the colors fairly dark, as I knew that as this model goes on, more and more of the model will need to be quite contrasting. And so as you can see here, again, we're just working on the ends of the folds. Again, you can see where the highlights were. It's really, really subtle. Next, I'm going to take some Slaanesh Gray. And basically, we're just going to do a simple little edge highlight on a lot of these details. This is really going to play out well for the loincloth, as well as the colors that ride within the corset and the clock, as well as the cloak on the edges there. You'll see that, again, it's just a simple little edge highlight running along there. And again, it's really, really relatively simple here. Using our finest detail brush as we go along here. You see there, it's just a simple little edge highlight just along the outer rim, catching those little buttons and the little folds in the cloth. Next, I'm going to take some Drakenhof Nightshade, and basically I'm going to provide a shade color here into some of the shadow points. Again, with these shades, it works well because the combination of color of purple and blue do work well together, and again gives us our nice shadow points. We could have also gone in with Druchii Violet as well, but again, it would probably pull the cloth a little too far to the purple side, and I really wasn't looking for that. I still wanted to stay fairly dark, and so again, we just leave it simply the Drakenhof Nightshade, and it stays nice and dark in those recesses, which I do prefer with this color mixture. As you can see, it's relatively straightforward. Again, one thing I will do later on, though, I will end up changing a bit of the colors here. I will take a bit of that Slaanesh Gray, turn it into a glaze, and do a bit of glazing along the top portions as highlights along the top portions of the cloth and folds, just to mix it up a little bit more and give me a little bit more definition on that top portion, as you'll see here. Again, I was just showing the one way you can push the color. Here we're going to go with another way. Again, like as I mentioned before, I simply just turned it into a glaze, and I began running the highlights in this fashion as well. Again, using Drakenhof Nightshade in the shadows and using Slaanesh Gray as a glaze along the top portions. Again, just to bring a little bit more contrast into it. But again, it was really up to you as to how far you really want to push it. I was kind of digging it this way as well, but in the end product will probably change as well, but you never know. It's hard to say. We've got even more painting tutorials in the Silver Mini Wargaming Vault. You can watch another one today about how I paint the doves of this model. Just click on the link in the video description below to watch it right now. If you don't have a Mini Wargaming Vault membership, you can click on the link and sign up for a free 7-day trial. Make sure that you get a silver membership so you get access to painting tutorials, and you'll get instant access to over 1,000 painting tutorials already in the vault. And so thank you for watching, and happy wargaming.